How many times should you be training a week? That's important, but that's a really important question to ask yourself, especially when you're first starting out in CrossFit or overall high intensity training. However, the biggest thing to understand before you can decipher how many times you should be training a week is what's the difference between training and working out. So training in its essence is actually something planned. It has set peaks and valleys for you to hit at some point throughout the cycle, whether it's a metabolic peak or some strength component or calisthenic thing that you should be hitting a threshold of. A workout, for the most part, anyone can really do a workout. It's a lot of just movement and not too many set things. A lot of people, when they think of working out, they're just thinking of getting a big sweat in and just really leaving a place drenched. With training or train, you want to leave a little bit of extra juice in the tank for certain days, and some days you're going to go all out. But in training, you are playing with your overall energy. You're taking into consideration that this next day you're going to be doing this much and that much, so you don't need to be going all out and just wrecking your body, because the next day the intended purpose and overall the stimulus is to hit X or Y. When working out, a lot of people just kind of wreck themselves every single time, but they don't think about the next day's training. So with training, you really keep in mind the next training session. With working out, you are not thinking about the next day's training, at least for the most part. That's what we try to distinguish at CrossFit Cincinnati and here with our coaches on staff, that we train people to be more capable for the next session or for whatever obstacle or thing they're looking to compete in. In a workout, you're not necessarily as structured. And I prefer training and I prefer to push that, but there's time and place to work out and just get a movement in. If you're jet lagged and you just need to break a sweat, working out is perfect. If you need to get a quick release of energy, working out is perfect. But if you want to train and build muscle and just make a long-term change for your health, you need to be living right here in the train sphere. So, how many times a week should you be training? And this is specific for newbies. So, how many times should you be training if you're new to overall working out and new to overall CrossFit or high intensity? The magic number for me that I've seen is 3 times a week. For most people. There's some people that have a higher overall work capacity that they should be working out 4 to 5 times a week. But the big rule of thumb here is to have set people that are coming from being very sedentary to trying something new like CrossFit out or higher intensity to train about 3 times a week. Usually the recommended format that I give people is every other day, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. The main reason for that is that it gives your central nervous system some time to breathe, reset, and really get the most out of the next training session and that training session. But with this days in the middle of resting, you get a chance to recover. And recovery can take many shapes, ways, and forms. Sleep is huge for recovery when you're training. So if you're getting about 7 to 9 hours of sleep, you're a stud. You're helping yourself a ton. Eating according to your body and your overall needs or overall dietary restrictions, it's a huge surplus, just big plus. If you are able to eat at the right times consistently and you are able to portion control yourself to just meals that are actually beneficial for you, that's a major plus. However, there's another one. Sleep and meals, just eating, are just two simple things. There's always more factors because overall training here in the gym is 1 hour and we'll get 24 hours. So the rest of the recovery for you is the next 23 hours. So this is just a brief discovery of how I like to format the training. But a big thing you should do in those recovery days is to actively recover. I might be misspelling some words here and there, but don't mind those. I want you to just primarily get the gist across of what this is. So active recovery is really important when you're starting out, because active recovery is not full on letting yourself veg out and just lay in the couch, but actually going on a walk for about 20 to 30 minutes is why I advise new people, especially their first week of training here at CrossFit Mini. I want you to be taking at least, let's say that Tuesday, a 20 to 30 minute walk. You can do it in the morning, you can do it after you eat your dinner or whatever. Just go outside, get some vitamin D, get in the sun, and just overall let your legs kind of work some of the lactic acid out. The next thing is stretch. Stretch, do mobility work, something like that. Even if you did yoga, it will be great, but mobility is the biggest thing. So walk, do some mobility work in between that time off. You can do, you don't have to just do one. You can do the 20-minute walk and then later on do 20 minutes of some sort of mobility work. But that can be a lot, especially if you're a brand new person that you're starting out with 3 times a week training. Walk, yoga, mobility work, then some other non-impact thing like cycling, biking, swimming. Those would be nice things to do to let your body recover and just actively fill itself out and just get connected to this new form of training that you're currently embarking on. Because this is just for the beginning of your fitness journey. So you should be training, not working out necessarily, at least not all the time. You want to really have a general idea of what your rate per exertion is when you're actually trying to develop muscles and overall long-term changes to your body. You want to make the most out of those days in between training by recovering properly. So sleep and eating correctly should be a big priority, because we all get 1 hour of training, at least most of us 1 hour of training, then you get 23 hours to figure out how you're going to recover or what you're going to do to get you ready for the next training session. And we'll get those 24 hours to do whatever you want with. So make sure you do the most out of those 24 hours or 23 hours if you are in a training day. To make the most out of that time, you want to make sure you know how to actively recover. Some of the things I suggest for newbies, if you're watching this video more likely you're a newbie, you want to walk for 20-30 minutes, do some mobility work, or go biking for 20-30 minutes, or swim like that for 20-30 minutes. And all this stuff in like a 90-day period, you should see a drastic change. In a 30-day period, you'll see a big change as a whole. But 90 days, you'll be a whole different person if you're able to be mindful of all this recovery, all this actual training 3 times a week. You'll see a huge difference.